I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sparta, Kentucky, where tonight the Kentucky Speedway will play host to round number 1 of the High Slide Cup Series playoffs. My name is Chris Graham, as always, joined by James Watson. Patrick Byrne is on assignment this evening, so only going to be a two-man booth for you here, but looking forward to a fantastic night of racing here for the High Slide Cup Series. Their playoffs are kicking off this evening. Let's run you down the playoff grid here. 12 drivers qualify for the playoffs. They still have a shot at the championship here in the High Slide Cup Series, and they will be led, no surprise here, by Greg Holt. Joseph Causey, Rob Pendleton, Wendell Elliott, Cody Henderson, and Christian Converse are going to be your top 6. 7 through 12, Nicholas Lockard, Jordan Probst, Alan Martin, Nathan Aldrich, Mark McCurdy, and Donnell Williams are the 12 drivers that will have a shot at the High Slide Cup Series championship. Mark McCurdy checking in already on YouTube. Time to go racing. Yes, sir, it is. As we're getting ready for practice to finish up here in just the next couple of minutes. And let's bring James Watson in here. And James, there's a lot of storylines whenever you get into the playoffs, but Kentucky is kind of a unique challenge in that the race is still very important, and pitch strategy really could decide the outcome of this one.
Yeah, especially since Kentucky is such a difficult track. You know, you look at it on its face, and it seems like every other mile and a half, but it really isn't. It's significantly flatter, and with the wonky progressive banking, you have to drive it completely different. So seeing how everyone tackles this much more difficult track and how they factor that into their strategy, because it's going to eat tires a lot more than some of the other tracks that we've gone to. And thinking back to Charlotte and how the undercut overcut strategy made a huge difference in the race, it'll be interesting.
By stages, it really provides the opportunity for several different strategies to come into play here. Theoretically, the pit window could open as early as lap number 22. And the way that would play out as we get a look here at Nathan Aldrich out on the racetrack, a stop at lap 22 is going to get you to lap number 69. Stopping there puts you in the window where you would stop anywhere probably around lap 63, maybe try to stretch it out to the end of stage number 2, and we'll get to the stage lengths in just a minute here. But basically it sets you up for a final stop right around lap 104, which will get you to lap 151. Where that becomes important is this is a 141 lap race. It builds in the green-white checkers, which is going to be really important here. The flip side of the coin is you could theoretically, and try to go full hero mode, if you're able to stretch it to lap number 48, that would be a stop at lap number 95, and you would theoretically make it to lap 142. So it is entirely theoretically plausible that you could make this a two-stop race. However, the stage breaks are where it starts to get a little bit tricky for these drivers. Stage number 1 ends at lap number 40. That will bring out a caution flag. Stage number 2 ends at lap number 70. Does not have a caution flag attached to it. Stage number 3 goes from lap 71 to lap 141. So James, really the big thing here is, can you make a two-stop strategy work? Absolutely. If you're able to stretch the fuel number in a big way anyway. The problem is you're going to miss stopping under the yellow for the stage break.
Yeah, and it really just depends on how greedy you are with your right foot, because it's such a unique skill set being able to save fuel. And so you have to realize is it worth it? How much time am I going to be losing to everyone and not being able to hit at the stage break, like you said? So it's a big gamble, and I hope that all these guys were doing their homework during practice to see what kind of strategy shenanigans they can get away with.
Taking a look here, we don't have every stint length here, but a couple of drivers have turned upwards of 30 laps here in practice on a stint. A lot of them now are in full qualifying trim for practice as they get ready to close out the practice session here. So we're not seeing as many long green flag runs as we might have seen earlier, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know that anybody has practiced in the room tonight a full-length fuel run.
Yeah, that they might be missing out then, because that's been the key to my success in a lot of different races is mapping out the field just right to know what shenanigans I can pull. And those shenanigans have won me a lot, even won me a championship. So I hope that someone was doing their homework. Humble brag over.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here who manages the pitch strategy in the most effective way, because we talked about the undercut versus the overcut like we saw at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That really made a huge difference in the fact that you were able to make the overcut work. You came out with so much fresher tires. It was like, taking candy from a baby getting through some of these cars in terms of how long you were, or how quickly you were able to get back through the field. The issue is if you run the undercut, you're in that Paul Tracy danger zone of, do you get caught a lap down? You really need things to cycle out in just the right way for you.
Yeah, and it also depends on how much outright pace you have to be able to pull the overcut off. If you're fast and you're faster than a lot of the guys, the overcut is the way to go. But if you're struggling a bit keeping up with some of the guys, that may not be the strategy to go. And you also have to hope that on the flip side, you're good at saving tires to make the undercut work, because if you blow the right front off, the rears off within the first 10-20 laps, then you're handing the win over to whoever does even the slightest overcut.
It is definitely going to be a very interesting one to watch throughout the course of the race this evening. In addition to the pit strategy games that we've been talking about here, and it does really come into play, the other big implication here is going to be the battle for the High Slide Cup Series Championship as we pick up a big group of cars making their way down the back straightaway. Christian Converse in that group. He's currently the fastest driver in practice at a 30.09 second lap. Nick Lockard is slowest of the cars that have completed a lap at speed 30.87. You're talking 0.8 of a second in terms of theoretical raw pace here. Now, I would imagine some of these cars towards the back were probably more working on race pace than outright qualifying speed.
Yeah, and to kind of circle back to what we were talking about with strategy, having the championship on the line, that adds another little caveat into it because you also have to go, how much do I want to risk? What do I really want to accomplish? Strategy. You don't want to do something too risky and end up with a bad finish and take yourself out of the title. Some of the higher seed, maybe you wouldn't call them favorites per se, but the guys that we see at the top of the point standings, like Lockhart, Wendell Elliott, they may not want to be as aggressive on the strategy as some of the guys toward the bottom of the playoff field, like Donnell, for example. So he might want to do something a lot more aggressive and risky because he's got nothing to lose for the most part.
As practice has wrapped up and qualifications are about to get ready to get out onto the race course. First things first, we need to say some big-time thank yous here this evening to those folks that make these High Slide Cup Series broadcasts possible, including Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. They're your one-stop shop for the best in floor coatings and treatments. Everything from epoxy floor coatings to custom designs and your own artwork in the finished product. Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey has you covered. Find them on Facebook at Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Hot Shoe Racewear is your source for the best in screen printing, embroidery, and sublimation. Whether it's racewear, workwear, or streetwear, Hot Shoe Racewear has you covered. Find out more online at hotshoeracewear.com. And make sure you tell them that NRN sent you. Locker.it provides offensive and defensive cybersecurity solutions for companies of all sizes. For more information, visit Locker.it or call 855-999-6425 to get started. Ray's Import Auto Repair is a family-owned and operated shop, and when you choose Ray's Import Auto Repair, you are choosing trained ASE-certified technicians, the highest quality parts, the latest equipment, and the newest technology to diagnose and repair your vehicle. Conveniently schedule online at raysimportautorepair.net. An Aquatic Express Pool Service. They clean and maintain pools and also specialize in pool equipment repair. Find them online at aquaticexpress.com. Qualifications rolling out here onto the racetrack. Joseph Causey going to be your quick timer as of right now, making his way through turns 3 and 4, 30.13 seconds. Off of turn number 2 for Causey. Working on lap number 2. Alan Martin has completed his run. 30.19 seconds. Evan Kelsey just finishing up his run at a 30.27. Donnell Williams, 4th quick. Cody Henderson going to be 5th quick on the speed charts. Everybody pretty tight here. Causey making his way across the start-finish line to wrap up his qualification run. Second lap is slower. 30.13 will be the time of record for Joseph Causey. Here's Wendell Elliott making his way down the back straightaway. 31.26, a full second off the pace. Big time surprise there for Elliott, who was your regular season points champion. He comes down over the start-finish line, and he goes second quick, 30.18 seconds. 5/100ths off the quick time set by Joseph Causey. Alan Martin finishing up his lap. Coming in to the 3rd position, let's pick up Jason Miz. Jeremy Gibbs also out on the racetrack. Lap number 1 is in the books for Gibbs, and it does not score. We'll see if lap number 2 is going to move him up at all here. Christian Converse completes his first lap, 30.48 seconds. Miz going to be 30.54. Those two drivers going to be back the 11th and 12th position respectively. Mark McCurdy just making his way out onto the racetrack. Converse coming around to complete his lap. See what the number is as he comes across the start-finish line. No quick time, 30 seconds flat. Christian Converse to the top of the charts. Jason Miz completing lap number 2. He's going to jump up to the 9th position. Let's pick up the 23 of Mark McCurdy. These drivers all making little in-car adjustments here, or at least in the garage adjustments, as they get ready to get out onto the racetrack, taking the information from the teammates that have already completed runs. McCurdy on his first lap. The green at the bottom of your screen means the driver has gone personal best. If you see purple, that means he's fastest overall in that half of the racetrack. Andrew Schroeder and Nick Lockard both on the racetrack right now. McCurdy comes around to complete lap number 1. He's going to be fifth quick, 30.27 seconds, still a quarter of a second off the quick time set by Christian Converse. Working through turns 3 and 4. See what Mark McCurdy's going to be able to do here. Nick Lockard, 19th quick after lap number 1. Lap number 2 for McCurdy, 30.42 seconds. He'll stay on lap number 1's time, 30.27. Let's pick up Nicholas Lockard as he works through turns 3 and 4. Down the front straightaway, clips the apron just a little bit. Lockard only going to move up 1 spot. That is a huge surprise. Nicholas Lockard, 18th quick after his qualification run. Andrew Schroeder going to move up to the 5th position at a 30.25. We're down to 5 cars that have not yet taken time. Timothy Pendergrass, Garrett Velzy, Danny Lawson, Brian Grubbs, and Robert Thorns. Garrett Velzy will not be taking time. At least I don't think he'll be taking time here. Garrett, the admin, the guy who runs the whole High Slide Cup Series, we have to say a huge thank you to him for having the National Racing Network on board here for this High Slide Cup Series season. Garrett taking over the race control duties. So the boss man will be running things instead of driving in the series. Pendergrass, Lawson, Grubbs, and Thorns still yet to take to the racetrack, and still a little bit of time here, but not too much left in qualifications. Want to remind everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, we are able to take super chats. It's a great way to almost guarantee that you're going to get your comment on the air. Basically, don't offend anybody is what we're asking, and we'll put your comment up on the air. Also, new, we have subscriptions available as well. If you love the content, you want to throw a couple of bones our way, we greatly appreciate it. Starting as little as $2.99 a month, you can come on board and join the NRN family here. We would greatly appreciate everybody who would step up to that and support our efforts that way. Seeing Chad Irvine checking in the comments asking, what bourbon are we drinking here in Kentucky? I have a very nice Woodford Reserve, actually, sitting right next to me. Not the most expensive stuff in the world, but it'll get the job done, that's for sure. So Christian Converse going to be your quick timer at a 30.002 second lap. As it doesn't look like we're going to see any of the other drivers get out there onto the racetrack. We still have about 2 minutes left in the qualification session. So looking at the results as we have them up here, James, Christian Converse, Joseph Causey currently going to make up the front row. No real surprises there. Wendell Elliott, Alan Martin on row number 2. Andrew Schroeder, Mark McCurdy on row 3. Some of the names that we're seeing up here towards the front are in the playoffs. In fact, everybody back through, I believe, 5th place, Andrew Schroeder, is in the playoffs. Then you start to get into Andrew Schroeder is a non-playoff driver. Evan Kelsey, Gavin Fitzgerald. These are non-playoff drivers, and they're going to be mixed in with guys like Donnell Williams, Mark McCurdy. Does it change your approach to things when you're driving around a playoff driver that maybe you don't squeeze them too hard, maybe give them a little bit more room just because you don't want to be that guy responsible for ruining somebody's title?
100%. I actually faced something similar last night in the goddamn open wheel racing series against my friend Kristen Jasper. Him and another guy were battling for the championship, and I had an opportunity to take it 3 wide and try to battle for the lead for myself because I had just joined with like 2 races to go, but I didn't want to screw up anybody's chance at the championship, especially not someone I consider a friend. So I just kind of stayed put and just let them fight it out in what ended up being an absolutely epic battle that I'm glad I didn't screw up. So yeah, you definitely don't want to mess someone up because you know how it would feel if you were in the battle and you were like, "Come on, man, cut me some slack."
Yeah, let's run down through the grid here as we're going to see everybody start to populate here in just a moment. Looks like Wendell Elliott going to be one of the first cars out on the grid here. Starting on road number 1, your pole sitter for the evening, Christian Converse, with a lap time of 30.002 seconds. Lining up to his outside is Joseph Causey. Wendell Elliott and Alan Martin on row number 2. Andrew Schroeder and Mark McCurdy on row number 3. Row 4 will see Evan Kelsey and Gavin Fitzgerald. Row 5, Danelle Williams and Cody Henderson. Row 6, Jason Miz and Peter Hodgson. Tyler Toller and Darrell Rector on row number 7. Art Greco, Andrew Chapman will occupy the 8th row, while row number 9 will see Joshua Gathright and playoff contender Nicholas Lockard, 0.7 of a second off the quick time, starting very deep in the field here this evening. Nathan Aldrich and Jeremy Gibbs on row number 10. Row 11 will have Garrett Velzy and Timothy Pendergrass. Danny Lawson and Brian Grubbs on row number 12, and all alone on row number 13 will be the number 36 of New York's Robert Thorens. 25 cars, 141 laps, the scheduled distance here for the High Slide Cup Series at the Kentucky Speedway. Just waiting on a couple of race cars to get themselves out, and it will be go time. Perhaps the biggest surprise here, James, is points leader Greg Holt basically did not start here this evening. He's a no-show this evening, so we will have a new points leader at the conclusion of this race. Joseph Causey is going to have a fantastic shot to overtake Holt in the points lead. Following the first 3 races of the playoffs, we will knock things down to just 8 drivers, and I'll tell you what, that is a huge hit for Greg Holt here not to score any points this evening.
Right? Like, I can't believe it. I was looking at the results, and I'm like, where's Greg? Where's Greg? I can't believe he's not here. That is a huge opportunity. Like, this is wide open now, so to speak.
Okay, so it looks like Garrett Velzy is out on the racetrack. Brian Grubbs, Robert Thorens are not on the racetrack as of right now. Field's going to make their way through turns 3 and 4. And we will go green this time by. Converse and Causey will lead the field down. Should have one backup car available if they need it, but they really don't want to have to use it. But as always, race fans, for every broadcast here on the National Racing Network, the start of the High Slide Cup Series playoffs is all yours. Lap number 1 is in the books, and it's going to go to Christian Converse. Joseph Causey holding on to the second position. Wendell Elliott third. 3 of the Performance Sim Sport cars at the front of this field as they make their way off of turn number 2. Side by side, they're going to play a little bit deeper back in the field. Evan Kelsey down to the inside. He's going to have Andrew Schroeder working to his outside. Kelsey able to grab that spot. It's going to be Andrew Schroeder, Alan Martin battling side by side as Kelsey sets the fastest lap of the race that last time by, but this is going to be a good fight back behind him between Alan Martin, Gavin Fitzgerald, and Andrew Schroeder. James, we've seen a pattern develop here in these High Slide Cup races. Either the beginnings are a caution fest, and the second half of the race, things just settle down in a big way, or we go the complete opposite way and we have these long green flag runs to start the race, and then it seems like all hell breaks loose late in the race.
Yeah, like all the mile-and-a-half races have been really interesting, so I'm really curious out. So far, so good, but yeah, so fingers crossed.
Things settle down a little bit in the battle. Everybody gets single file, and it's going to mean that we're going to bunch the field up pretty tightly here at the front. How about less than a couple of car lengths separating your top 3? Wendell Elliott, in fact, going to have Evan Kelsey looking to his outside. Top 2 nose to tail, side by side back behind him as Kelsey able to clear Wendell Elliott. He drops down to the inside. Since that race at Daytona where Evan Kelsey kind of just got hosed on the strategy call, we've been waiting to see, is it going to be the night where Evan Kelsey picks up a win? The car looks strong early on here.
Yeah, we all kind of think he let one go in back at Daytona with that wax strategy, so it might be the night. You never know.
Who's going to get single filed out. And the other big one to watch here, I mean, we talked about the pit strategy kind of ad nauseum in the pre-race, but what that really boils down to is whose car is handling well the later you get into the run. And sometimes you can save a lot of tire early on without losing too much pace to the leaders.
Yeah, that's something you really kind of got to start monitoring now. You know, to do a wax strategy, it takes immediate commitment from the very get-go. So it's interesting to watch and see who might be positioning themselves to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing it here. Best lap time overall for the race belongs to Mark McCurdy at a 30.325 second lap. We look at some of the other lap times that have been run. Everybody, including McCurdy, is now at 31 flat, high 30 seconds. They've already lost a half second a lap time here, and we're only 10 laps in.
Yeah, the tire wear here is absolutely crazy. So this is looking like the overcut may be a really good strategy.
It's definitely going to be one to watch, that is for sure. Let's slide backwards in the pack here a little bit. Pick up Jason Miz in the number 24 machine, that Performance Sim Sport entry, right back behind the red, white, and blue Budweiser colors of Peter Hodgson. Those cars separating themselves just a little bit. We actually don't have any really crazy battles here on the racetrack right now. Everybody playing nicely, single file as we work lap number 12. Christian Converse is your race leader. He's going to be followed right in line by Joseph Causey, Wendell Elliott, Evan Kelsey, and Alan Martin. The other one we'll check in on here early in this race is Nicholas Lockard, who is running towards the back of the pack. 31:48 was the last lap time for Lockard. All the race leaders running very low 31s. You almost wonder, is Lockard in a big-time conservation mode here? We saw him do it a week or two ago, whatever it was. He committed to the strategy early and played it to perfection, getting himself a podium.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's got experience with that. He knows how to make the strategy work. He didn't really qualify all that well to begin with. So he is 100% going for it.
As soon as we say the battle settled down, they're going to start fighting like gangbusters here. Cody Henderson, Jason Miz, also Andrew Schroeder and Peter Hodgson. This is a 5-car battle for the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th positions. Also, the 82 with Donnell Williams is in that fight as well. Seeing Evan Kelsey battling side by side with Alan Martin. Martin looking to the inside down the front straightaway. 15 laps in the books, and I would imagine here, James, this is where you start to really have a feel for what the car is going to do at about the midway point of the run.
Yeah, and especially here because it's such a tough track to get right because you have to drive it in such a unique way that you really don't deal with at any other mile and a half. It's like the entry to turn 3 is absolutely weird. You have to take it at such a interesting angle to get it to hook. Otherwise, you just slide up, and you have so much space on the exit of the floor that being able to figure out where you need to get on the corner at the right time, it's really difficult.
Let's go on board here with the 82 of Donnell Williams. Kind of listen for the throttle trace here and see where he's on the throttle, where he's off the throttle, and get a good look at that battle just ahead of him as well. So looking now here at Andrew Schroeder, he's already starting to make his way up the racetrack. That, to me, is kind of an indication that you're either starting to feel the push, maybe trying to conserve tires a little bit here, but maybe not the best handling race car if you have to get it up off the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, you really got to wrestle it in, otherwise it's not going to cooperate. No car ever really wants to cooperate you at Kentucky. That's the fun part. So you need a lot of commitment and force to get it there, and that's usually what ends up murdering the tires.
Yeah, it's that constant battle of how hard do I push early in the run, at the midpoint of the run. Theoretically, we're only a couple of laps away from the pit window opening. I would imagine without any caution flags, though, you're really going to have to try to make this last all the way to the end of the stage at lap number 40.
And it's so difficult because you're murdering the tires so fast. I know if I was in this race, my lack of conservation skill in the A car, I would be screaming and crying because my tires would be probably like around 70% already here. it's just not a good time.
Seeing the comment here from Bill Mitchell, I guess Rob Pendleton just upped and quit. Haven't seen him in a long time. Yeah, it's been a little bit since we've seen Rob in one of these races. Not quite sure what the issue was there. I believe there may have been something else that sort of life getting in the way of things here for Rob. But taking a look just back behind this one here, Darrell Rector almost getting into the back of Andrew Schroeder down the front straightaway. Gives him a little bit of a shove. Side-by-side battle between Jason Miz and Mark McCurdy as they make their way off of turn number 2.
I could have sworn Rob was at the last race a couple weeks ago, or my high. I don't really know.
Taking a look here at the point standings, Rob Pendleton did not qualify for the playoffs, so I believe he did have a win. Actually, yeah, I'm sorry, he did qualify for the points. So that's 2 of the top 3 drivers that we do not have in the race here tonight is Greg Holt, also at DNQ tonight. Holt was your points leader. Pendleton was only 2 points back there in the 3rd position. Oh, man, they're really getting feisty now down the front straightaway. So, yeah, Rob Pendleton has 2 wins on the season, an average start of 5th and an average finish of 7th. He will not be 3rd in points at the conclusion of this race, however. Again, the point format mirrors the NASCAR system used in the real world. It's a win and you're in system. A win locks you into the next round of the playoffs. Score 43 points for first, 42 for second, etc., all the way back down through the field. And you do have playoff points and stage points that are on the line here, and those will get added to the totals as well. So we're down to 15 laps to go here in stage number 1, only 13 minutes into this race. Maybe a little bit surprised here, James, but the racing has been very good and very clean to this point.
See, and I kind of hypothesized that before the race because this track is a lot flatter, it's a lot slower. You're kind of having to focus on it more than the other cars, where with the high downforce, low horsepower package on some of the higher banked mile and a halves, it's pretty much a super speedway, and well, we know what happens in super speedways, so I had a feeling that this one was going to be a lot cleaner and straightforward.
Take a look here at the back bumper. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the paint job. Looks like, I thought I saw the back end caved in a little bit on the number 23 machine of Mark McCurdy. Not enough damage that it would necessitate a backup car, but that does add time to the pit stops here if you have required damage. Oh, man, they're almost making contact again down the front straightaway. 3 wide, battling into turn number 1. Rector to the inside. McCurdy up on the outside. He's going to have Gavin Fitzgerald tucking in behind Darrell Rector. The PD Pop fan club is out in force again tonight. Thank you very much, Alda Hernandez, for checking in with us. There's a good look at the 64 of Peter Hodgson making his way just back behind this battle here. Lap number 29 now on the scoreboard. Still Christian Converse at the front of the field. He's led every lap of the race. Wendell Elliott running in the 2nd position, about a half second or so back of the race leader. In fact, actually more about 1 second back now of the race leader. Half second back to Joseph Causey, then 2 full seconds back to 4th place running Evan Kelsey. And I would guess if you're going to try something on the strategy front here to put yourself up front for the restart in stage 2, you're going to have to start thinking about making that pit stop in the next 5 to 7 laps.
Yeah, this is where you really kind of got to look into the mirror and go, is strategy really worth it? Can I manage the tires? Am I going to be able to continue to save fuel? How much time do I think I'm going to lose? So, yeah.
This is the tightest battle on the racetrack. Oh, man, there's still 3 wide back here. One car way down there to the inside. Ooh. That was the 89 to Joshua Gathright. He's going to slide up the racetrack just a little bit, allow the 22 of Andrew Chapman in the Virginia Tech colors to make his way to the inside. They'll continue the battle side by side down the front straightaway. Slide up the field just a little bit, and Mark McCurdy and Darrell Rector are still going at it, fighting like cats and dogs here for position.
Contact.
I say,
hit a little contact.
Yeah, Gavin Fitzgerald may have gotten a piece of the outside safer barrier on the exit at turn number 2. He's already lost a spot to Donnell Williams and a spot to Peter Hodgson. So we'll have to see how that one develops here. Is there any damage to the 33, and can he nurse it these 7 laps to the stage break?
Yeah, honestly, that's the best time to smack the wall, is that we got a guaranteed caution so he can go and get the optionals repaired. But yeah, you don't want to hit the wall, because smacking the wall makes the car tighter. And you're already dealing with a tight enough race car as it is at this track, so you don't want to get anywhere close to that wall. It's going to compound an already not pleasant car.
Take a look here as we see the number 33 come around the corner. Maybe a little bit of damage on the right-hand side. Nothing too crazy here as this fight continues to rage on. This battle has been absolutely fantastic. Darrell Rector, Mark McCurdy, Peter Hodgson, Donnell Williams. Throw in Andrew Chapman into the back of that one. Working at lap number 35. It'll be 5 to go in stage number 1 next time by. And that will be a caution flag stage break. Stage number 2 ends at lap number 70, and that will not be a caution flag break. So the only guaranteed caution of this race is coming up here 5 laps from now as Christian Converse comes around to put lap number 36 on the board.
47 in the wall.
Trouble for the 47 of Andrew Schroeder. Keeps his foot in it. He's going to be fighting Joshua Gathright. Peter Hodgson right there as well. So's Donnell Williams. This is really a spot that you don't want to be if you're drivers like Mark McCurdy, Donnell Williams. You're a playoff driver. Everybody else is just fighting for their position in the race. You've got bigger picture stuff to think about here too.
Yep, that's where you really got to look and go, are these positions worth it? Is it worth it to put myself in this position? Probably, but yeah, it's still... Man, I tell you, that 23 car, he is... I don't think I've ever really seen someone run that high of a line. He was like almost rim riding in 3 and 4. I don't know if that was on purpose or an accidental, uh-oh, this car's too tight, but...
I mean,
yeah,
you can see it there.
Struggling.
He just pushed way up the racetrack, got up under the rear fascia of Joshua Gathright, and just no air to the front splitter of that race car. He shoved up the racetrack in a pretty big way. I mean, let's kind of call it what it is here. The front splitter is a wing. It acts and operates exactly like the front wing on an open wheel car. It provides a ton of downforce, and it's there to keep the car planted. The problem is when you get right up underneath somebody, you lose all that downforce on the front wing.
Yep, and you also have the giant ass spoiler in the back that you also lose air on, that also screws you up too.
off at turn number 4. It's going to be lap number 40 going up on the scoreboard for Christian Converse. Should see the caution flag at the end of lap number 40. Converse has led every lap since the drop of the green flag. Wendell Elliott and Joseph Causey battling just back behind them. No real sense in a big fight there as those two cars make their way down the back straightaway. Pick back up with your race leader coming off at turn number 4. Fantastic looking paint job on that number 19 machine. He'll see the green and white checkered flag and caution at the same time. That will end stage number 1. Christian Converse picks up the playoff point, which is huge. That will advance with him for the duration of the playoffs, as well as the stage points. Converse, Elliott, Causey, Kelsey, and Alan Martin, your top 5. Cody Henderson, Jason Miz, Darrell Rector, Andrew Chapman, and Peter Hodgson, your top 10, as the rocket-powered iRacing safety car comes around. Your race leaders will fall in line. And I'm fairly certain we're going to see pit road open this time. It will be, and your leaders are going to make their way down pit road. We'll follow Christian Converse. The big thing at this point now, no pit speeding penalties. Hit your marks cleanly, no mistakes on pit road. That's going to be the key here. Everybody currently on the pit lane. Nobody's a lap down, so nobody has to wait for the second time around. There's Converse. He hits his marks cleanly. So does Joseph Causey and Wendell Elliott, your top 3. Crew around on the right-hand side going to be 4 Goodyear Racing Eagles, Toucan Sunoco Fuel going in all these race cars. Down and away. Christian Converse will retain the race lead. A very quick stop for Cody Henderson, 14.9 seconds. He's going to gain a couple of spots in the battle off of pit road. He'll be up to the 5th position as they start to make their way around. So Converse, Causey, Elliott, Martin, and Henderson, your top 5. They'll be followed by Andrew Chapman, Jason Miz, Joshua Gathright, Evan Kelsey, and Donnell Williams. We unfortunately don't have any of the Performance Sim Sport drivers available for the interview here, but let's see. Who do we want to talk to here? Let's see if we can talk to Peter Hodgson, pilot of the number 64 machine. We'll slide the camera back and pick him up. Peter, Chris Graham in the NRM booth. You have a copy on us?
Yeah, I got you, man. What's happening?
Ah, man, well, you know what? The fan club is tuning in force here tonight, so figure we'll get you a little bit of TV time here. How's that number 64 car as you complete stage number 1?
It's doing pretty good, but I got to give a shout out to Speedy Pop Maniac. You know, they're out there, and I thank them for my support, or for their support, excuse me. But the car's doing actually good. I feel like on the long runs, I'll probably do a lot better, but I had a bunch of damage I had to repair, so I went from 10th back to looked like 19.
Yeah, that's one of those, you get the damage repair out of the way early here and try to make the rest of this race as clean as possible.
Yeah, we don't have a quick repair this week, and you can tell the racing's a lot better and a lot cleaner because before you used to be able to pull into the pit and fix it, but now it's a lot different.
All right, Peter. Well, good luck the rest of the way here, bud, and we'll let you back to your driving duties.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good one.
There you go. There's Peter Hodgson, currently in the 18th position. Kind of interesting to hear there. It makes a whole lot of sense why the racing's been so clean. There's no backup cars on offer for these drivers. That's the reason you got to keep the nose clean. Quick caution here. Pace car is in. Green flag's back in the air. From here on out, it's clean and green unless an incident necessitates a caution flag. No yellow at the stage break at lap number 70, and Christian Converse leads into 1.
Ooh, Kazi's got a run on him.
Joseph Causey looking to the inside. Diane Mendez checking in the comments saying, coming in late, where's Causey? He's battling Christian Converse for the race lead off at turn number 4. That battle will continue down the front straightaway, and I would imagine here, James, knowing that there's no guarantee of another caution, you now have to kind of fight for that position, maybe a little bit harder earlier in the run.
Yeah, I just don't think Joseph will be able to pull it off, though, because Kentucky, with how the banking is, it's kind of a outside-centric track. So, yeah, as we see Christian just pull around on the outside, it was a hell of an effort by Causey, but yeah, it was always going to be kind of a losing battle unless you wanted to pull out the slide job like we see the 4 doing.
I was just going to say, Wendell Elliott throwing a little soft slider into turn number 1. He's going to take second away from Joseph Causey. Cody Henderson's got a fantastic view of the battle up here just in front of his nose. In fact, let's go on board here with Cody Henderson. Get you a look here at the front of the field. The Big Red 710. Not a lot of brakes, not a lot of lift out of these cars. They get down to about half throttle, and then you're right back on it. As soon as you can possibly get on the throttle, you're back in it in a very, very big way.
Yeah, it's not really a track. You kind of have to float it in a little more than a regular track.
Fight for the race lead. New race leader into turn number 1. Going to be Wendell Elliott taking the top spot from Christian Converse. Kind of chopped off the nose of the 19 in the middle of the corner. That allowed Joseph Causey to get right back in. Here comes Cody Henderson to the inside. We've talked about this 710 of Cody Henderson a couple of times. I think he had a pretty big moment there on the entry to turn number 3. He has done some absolutely unreal things with a race car this season. Really, really impressive.
He is. He had a great run to bring home the dub at Talladega. He's just been really impressive this year.
Henderson now going to start to make up some of that ground he lost a couple of laps ago, coming to the inside of Jason Miz. He'll get that pass completed down the front straightaway. Miz is another one to keep an eye on here. He is sneaky quick, and he's pulled off the win using the strategy game to absolute perfection. With your race leaders stopping at lap number 41, they should be able to make it to right about lap number 82. Potentially a couple of laps longer, but not a ton. Converse and Causey going to fight for the second position here. Causey slides up the racetrack just a little bit. That opens the door for the 22 of Andrew Chapman down to the inside. Gut sack move there by Andrew Chapman. He gets to the inside of Causey. Tries to throw it in there. Gonna lose the position off of turn number 4. It's really one of those things, James, where you make the big send into turn number 1 and it ultimately costs you in 3 and 4 by the time the car you're fighting with has gotten it wound back up again.
Yeah, that's why you kind of have to wait until you can get a slide job going, because 9 times out of 10 it's gonna end badly for you. You know, because if there's a line, you're just gonna get freight trained. So if you're gonna try a move like that, you have to wait until you have some gap on the car behind, so you can get back in line. Otherwise, what we saw happens almost every.
This battle still a good one between Cody Henderson and Joshua Gathright. It's the fight for the 5th position. I would imagine your 4 race leaders are pretty happy to start seeing some battling back behind them, because there's absolutely no tire saving, no fuel saving going on out of these two. The race leaders can kind of dictate their own pace now at this point.
Yep. And that's the last thing that some of the guys in the back of the pack who are having to rely on the wacky strategies to see, because now they can start focusing on their own strategies and see what kind of shenanigans they can come up on their own.
Yeah, try to take a look here at what some of the available options are here for these race teams. You could theoretically stop as early as lap number 63. That would get you, with one more stop, to the end of the race. That would be a pit stop at lap number 104. That would be a pretty severe undercut, though, only putting about 20 laps or so on the tires. Would it be a surprise to see some stops from cars deeper in the pack at about, I don't know, lap 70 to 75 here, get through the end of stage number 2? Because at that point, you're theoretically, yes, you're going to go a lap down, because you're going to lose about 46 seconds on pit road. But depending on how the fight shakes out here, you could be in a pretty prime position.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the tires have fallen off enough to where you're going to have a lot of pace putting a new set on, but you're just going to be handcuffing yourself so bad at the end of the run, because your tires are going to be killed compared to others who will have fresher tires stopping later. Stopping right now, I think it would be absolutely the big smooth move of the race.
Yeah, we haven't even had a nominee for that one yet here this evening. Seeing Mark McCurdy fighting Darrell Rector. On the outside, the 72 of Art Greco. We haven't talked about that Monster Energy machine much here. Nicholas Lockard continuing a very quiet charge through the field here, as he is up to the 13th position, up 5 spots from the drop of the green flag. Your Hard Charger Award recipient of the night so far, the number 22 of Andrew Chapman, the Virginia Tech Hokies colors. On the side of that machine, up 12 spots to run in the 4th position. Shout out to Joshua Gathright. He's up 10 spots to the 7th position. Nathan Aldrich and Timothy Pendergrass both up 8. The biggest fallers of the race, actually 3 drivers tied for that right now. Mark McCurdy is down 10. He's now claimed solo possession of the lead in the clubhouse there. Gavin Fitzgerald is down 9. Peter Hodgson down 8. And again, that's just a little bit of damage repair that was going on to some of those race cars.
Yeah, it's impressive watching the 22. He is just absolutely gobbling up the competition.
and
I'm sorry, I really wanted to make a turkey joke. I've been waiting since I saw that.
Yes. The Virginia Tech flightless turkeys. Oh man, that was a big wiggle there. Out of Wendell Elliott. That one's just for you, Chad Irvine. Wendell Elliott almost lost it off of turn number 4. That's going to let Christian Converse come around and claim the race lead. Put Joseph Causey up to 2nd. We are working lap number 61.
Haven't cleared yet. Ooh, Wendell's fighting back. Oh, now he's got him. Oh, that is tough for Wendell. Oh God, those positions are hard to come by.
That's it. It's going to be tough to fight back for him, and especially this late. We're already to the end of stage, almost anyway, to the end of stage number 2. This stage only 30 laps in length, ending at lap number 70. Christian Converse back out at the front of the field. If you're looking for stage points and playoff points, you're really going to have to get a move on here, because outside of this top 4, it's 1.4 seconds back to this next group that includes Cody Henderson, Jason Miz, and Joshua Gathright. Miz looks to the inside of Henderson down the front stretch. Tell you what here, James, we haven't gotten to do one of these yet since the opening laps of the race. Field making their way off of turn number 4 as they head down the front straight. Let's give you fans at home a chance to crank it up. Almost a little bit of contact between Cody Henderson and the 05 of Alan Martin. Let's run through the field here as we're down to 5 laps to go here in stage number 2. Christian Converse led every lap of stage number 1. Locked in a very good battle here with Joseph Causey, Wendell Elliott, and Andrew Chapman for the race lead as we see Elliott start to look to the inside of Causey through turns 3 and 4. Elliott runs 3rd. Andrew Chapman runs in the 5th position. Have to go back 2.5 seconds to find Jason Miz. He's up 6 spots from the drop of the green flag. 4 of the top 5 cars are Performance Sim Sport entries. The only one of those that is not is the 22 of Andrew Chapman. Just back behind Miz is the 89 of Joshua Gathright. He's up 11 spots since the drop of the green flag here this evening. Alan Martin running just back behind him. He's locked in that fight still with Cody Henderson for the 7th and 8th positions. Henderson now falling back into the clutches of Evan Kelsey, who runs in the 9th position. Kelsey going to look down to the inside through turns 1 and 2. Have to go back a full second to find Donnell Williams, who runs in the 10th position. Running in 11th is Nicholas Lockhart. He's up 7 spots from the drop of the green flag. Again, I think he's playing a little bit of a strategy game here this evening, along with the 14 of Nathan Aldrich. Running in the 13th position is Andrew Schroeder. He's leading another pack of cars that includes Timothy Pendergrass in the 44, the 20 of Tyler Toller, 64 of Peter Hodgson, and the 17 of Mark McCurdy, who's up to the outside. Also, Art Greco and Darrell Rector part of that fight. Let's slide up the racetrack here. Pick up Evan Kelsey and Cody Henderson, who are battling side by side off of 4. Almost making contact on the exit of turn number 2. And I'll tell you what here, James, as we hit lap number 70, this is really where a little mistake can absolutely crush your playoff hopes and dreams. If you're a guy like Cody Henderson, you're in the playoffs, but a finish, if you were to go out of the race right now, you would finish in the 23rd position. That's just not a chance you can be willing to take.
Nope, and that goes back to what I was saying, that what do you really want to do in this race strategy-wise? And that plays in part with your
contact!
And,
Schroeder going around
caution.
down the back straightaway. Caution flag is out. Andrew Schroeder hard into the inside retaining wall. That car going to be banged up on all 4 corners right as we get to the end of stage number 2. Take a look here at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Schroeder just a little bit of contact with Peter Hodgson, snaps that car around. Hard impact to the inside, safer barrier. Schroeder going to be able to keep the car rolling. He'll make his way down pit road and to the attention of his crew.
Is it ever not an NRN broadcast when a caution happens right when I'm talking about something?
It's about the way these things work. At least it seems to feel that way.
It never fails.
Oh, man. Chad Irvine, absolutely brutal in the chat. No wonder he wrecked. He's a Jets fan. Jets, Jets.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought
Looks like
that.
it's going to be a two-tire stop for several cars here on pit road. Wendell Elliott going to win the race off of pit road, 8.33 seconds for right side Goodyear Racing Eagles, Toucan Sunoco Fuel, 7.97 seconds for Cody Henderson. He takes the two-tire strategy as well. That's going to put him up to the second position. Interesting strategy call here is everybody who's on the lead lap stops at lap number 72. Still keeps them right in the window of where they need to be.
Fascinating. Going back to what I said earlier, we have both. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is cold.
Nathan Aldrich making his
anyways.
way back down pit road here. Go ahead, James.
Because I mentioned earlier about having the guys at the top end of the playoff spectrum not necessarily wanting to do the aggressive strategy and having the guys at the bottom of the grid wanting to go aggressive. Well, right here we have both ends of the spectrum being aggressive with Wendell and Cody going 2 only. I mean, I can't say how this is going to work out, really. You know, it actually might work out pretty well because track position here is king. As we've seen, it is incredibly hard to make passes. So Wendell and Cody do have the pace that I think this may work out pretty well for them.
I say both of those cars have been fantastically quick so far here this evening. It will be interesting to see how this is going to play out for them. Something else to bear in mind here is that you could actually short stint this run as well. If you make it to lap number 100 and come into the pit lane, that will get you to the advertised distance of lap 141. So back it out even 5 additional laps to get yourself some fuel for the green-white checkered. You've only got to go to lap 105. Everybody else we're anticipating seeing at about lap 113. It works the undercut. There's a lot of games that come into play there. Could be an interesting strategy game starting to develop here late in this race. Andrew Chapman checking in the comments here saying, hey guys, currently running in the 5th position.
I wonder what he thought of my turkey joke.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm sure he heard it. Now, here you go. Look, Wendell Elliott getting those left side tires down onto the apron, trying to get as much heat out of them as possible. You really want to try to cool those left sides down. They have a ton of wear, and we're going to find out very early in this run whether that strategy was a viable play or not. So we'll come back to green here at lap number 76. will be 66. Actually, yeah, 66 laps remaining. Here at the Kentucky Speedway. Good restart for Wendell Elliott. Not true for Cody Henderson. He spins the wheels up just a little bit. Going to give up second to Christian Converse. 3 wide into turn number 1. Causey makes some contact with Henderson. What a gutsy move by the 22 of Andrew Chapman. He goes 2 for 1. Joseph Causey, Wendell Elliott going to fight for the 3rd position. Elliott now going to fall back a little bit further. That 2-tire gamble just not worth it. Cody Henderson falling back in a huge way as well. Caution on the speedway. Trouble for Timothy Pendergrass and Danny Lawson. Take a look here. Get your Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. See what happened to the number 44 Budweiser machine. Oh, man, looked like the 54 just almost got like a net code into the outside retaining wall. Huge hits for Danny Lawson and Timothy Pendergrass. Now you almost wonder here, James, does Wendell Elliott and Cody Henderson have to come to pit road? You know how bad having 2 tires hurt you. Is there a strategy play that could be worthwhile here?
I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of time on. They're coming in. They're somewhere on everyone else's tires, but it's not going to be enough to use it as a pseudo undercut. You're just kind of having to take your medicine at this point. The aggressiveness, the risk did not pay off this time.
You know what? It's almost like you're going to try and pin everybody a lap down is kind of the situation that you're in now if you're Cody Henderson or Wendell Elliott. If you're able to, because they can now run as deep as lap 118, everybody else will have had to stop by lap 113 or so. A well-timed caution flag, all of a sudden you are right back into the game here. And you're going to be doing it on basically fresher tires as well.
Yeah, there's certainly
That's a lot of hope
out of it. Yeah, you're... Man, when you're having to rely on hope and luck, that's not exactly a great strategy. Especially when there's a championship on the line. But, yeah, the risk didn't pay off, so those two don't have any other recourse at this point.
Let's see if we can get a quick word here with the 710 of Cody Henderson. And Cody, you tried the 2-tire strategy. Seemed like it didn't pan out the way you were hoping it may have. What's the strategy call for the rest of the race here? Kind of hoping for a well-timed caution?
Well, actually, that last caution, we didn't take any tires at all. So we just went in and got 4 fresh. We got 1 set in the pit. Now, I don't want to give away everything, but let's hope for some hard racing up there.
That is a very interesting piece of information there, Cody. Thank you very much. We'll get you back up here as we're going to be ready to go back to green flag racing in just a moment. But, yeah, we haven't talked about that yet, James. They do have limited sets of tires available here. Very interesting thought process here for Wendell Elliott and Cody Henderson going fuel only, saving a set of tires, keeping a set of tires in the box. That makes for some interesting thought processes as we get down to the end of this thing.
I understood what you meant, I think.
It doesn't happen often. I can't believe people pay us to do this. Christian Converse going to be your race leaders. We'll come back to, hopefully we'll get the one to go signal next time by. I'll tell you what here, James, we're only 20 laps or so from that last pit window opening, maybe 25 laps. It's going to be very interesting to see who has the tires saved and when they're going to be able to use them.
Yep.
Wendell Elliott making his way back down pit road. This one I would assume would be the top off. Trying to get as much fuel packed in that number 4 machine.
What
Chad
looks
Irv-
like significant right side damage. Yeah, the right rear of Converse car is pushed up and in. I have no idea where he got that.
Take a look here. Yeah, there you can see it. Christian Converse does have some damage. Chad Irvine asking if he can get paid to watch this. No, you cannot. However, if you would like, you can support the hard work of the National Racing Network. Join us on YouTube. Subscriptions start at just $2.99 a month. You can also send super chats. We'll guaranteed, basically, to get your comment on the air. Don't be too offensive. And unless your name's Chad Irvine, that's another way to keep your comments from getting on the air potentially. But outside of that, there's a couple of ways that you can support our hard work. We greatly appreciate that one. So it's going to be Christian Converse and Andrew Chapman on the front row. Row number 2 will have Joseph Causey and Joshua Gathright. Jason Miz, Alan Martin in row number 3. Nicholas Lockard, Donnell Williams in row 4. Evan Kelsey and Taylor Toller in row number 5. Green flags back in the air. We're underway once again here at Kentucky. Battle for the race lead is a good one. Joseph Causey hanging out within 1/10 of a second of Christian Converse as they make their way back to turn number 1. Causey thought about getting it up to the inside. Has to back out just a little bit. Allows the lead to open up to 2 car lengths. Joshua Gathright going to start catching in. 5-car breakaway at the front. Alan Martin back there in the 6th position. 3/4 of a second back of your race leader. Looking a little deeper in the field here, Nick Locker down to the inside, the 72 of Art Greco runs the outside. Very easy, I would imagine, here at Kentucky. If you're running that outside lane, the car will just start to grip up and pinch down to the inside, and you can really put someone on that inside lane in a world of trouble without really any intent behind it.
Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't seen more chaos from situations like that than we have tonight.
Now, with the 2 additional caution flags, the number is right about 2-1. If you're able to save an absolute ton of fuel under the caution period. So pit stops, final pit stops looking like they should probably be coming potentially here as early as lap 105. Theoretically, it actually could be as late as almost lap 120 at this point. I would guess, James, here that when you're thinking about these strategy options, that short pit strategy of stopping at lap 105, maybe 108, That's really only available if you're running towards the back of the pack here. Maybe if you're a Wendell Elliott, who's now buried back here in 15th. For the race leaders, they need to make the run last as long as possible so they can make their final stop time as short as possible.
Yep. Yeah, you're kind of boxed in with what you can and what you want to do strategy-wise front. So, well, ooh, that was close.
The battles back here in the pack have been fantastic tonight. Let's slide a little bit forward here. Pick up Cody Henderson. He's to the inside of Art Greco. Also catching up to Donnell Williams. Evan Kelsey, Alan Martin going to be fighting for the 6th position just ahead of them. Everybody at the front is behaving themselves. Everybody at the back is in the middle of an absolute hornet's nest as they come off of turn 2. We said to keep an eye on Nick Lockard in the number 10 machine. Only up 6 spots from the drop of the green flag, running in the 12th position right now is Darrell Rector, almost getting up into Wendell Elliott. This is about as worst case scenario as you can get here if you're Wendell Elliott. Not only are you now fighting traffic, cars that you were faster than the entire race, but you're off on the pit strategy as well here. They'll go 3 wide down the back straightaway and into 3. Taylor Toller running with Art Greco, making that pass pretty easily off of turn number 2. Now Nick Lockard going to look to the inside of the 72 machine. Rector looking way high up to the outside. Starting to get towards that Kyle Larson lineup around the top. Here's Elliott. He wants to go 2 for 1. Going to shoot the gap up the middle on Nick Lockard and Art Greco. Greco wisely backs out of it. Lockard does not do the same. Caution is out on the speedway. Trouble for the 51 of Darrell Rector. Also, Garrett Velzy going to be involved with this one. Let's get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Oh, the 14 and Nathan Aldrich gets into the back of the 14. Clips the number 2. Nowhere for Garrett Velzy to go. Mark McCurdy got a piece of that as well. And we've got a yard sale heading into turn number 1. Take a look at this one again here. Garrett Velzy tried the outside lane, tried to get to the inside. There's Mark McCurdy getting a piece of it. Velzy gets looped around. He should be able to continue. Darrell Rector, on the other hand, has to take the tow into the pits. Now, here's where things get incredibly interesting. A stop here at lap number 94 does not get you to the end of the race. You're talking lap 135, maybe lap 138 at the absolute most here. However, is it worth the risk to try to come down pit road? It will be for Joshua Gathright.
Yeah, a couple of cautions or two, and you're gonna make it on fuel. So it's not that bad of a risk. I mean, it is, but it's plausible.
Also seeing Wendell Elliott, Taylor Toller, Nathan Aldrich, who was involved in that incident. Also Mark McCurdy, Peter Hodgson may have gotten a piece of it. Garrett Velzy into the pits as well. Gathright going to be the first one off of pit road. 7.73 seconds. Wendell Elliott down and away, 7.22. And that tells me, again, we're probably not seeing the two-tire change. This was probably a fuel-only stop. If you know you're going to have to stop again, you might as well save the tires for the late run. So Joshua Gathright, Wendell Elliott going to make their way back down pit road once again here. This is now we really are in absolutely pack it full of fuel and make this last as long as possible. With the stops at lap 97, 96, you're still not close enough, but every lap that you come in here under the caution flag, that's one more lap that you don't have to come in later on deep in the run.
Yeah, because you don't know how close you'll actually come until it happens, and you don't want to be sitting there like, man, if I just came in and topped off or started saving just a little sooner, I might have made it. And no, I'm not speaking from experience at all. Back to...
I was going to say, we've watched James Watson lose a couple of races in the Ezra IndyCar Series that way this season. And we still have him on as an expert commentator. He's an expert on something. We're just not entirely sure what yet. Joseph Causey, Christian Converse, going to make up the front row for the restart. Causey electing to take the outside. First time we've seen that out of a race leader this evening. Andrew Chapman, Jason Miz will be on row number 2. Evan Kelsey and Alan Martin on row number 3. Row 4 should have Cody Henderson and Donnell Williams. Lights will stay on the iRacing safety car, so they put the lights back on. That's a bonus lap for Wendell Elliott. He's going to get to come back into the pits, take another quick splash of fuel. Going to go back to green flag racing here in just a moment. Off at turn number 4, Causey and Converse will lead the field back to green. Going to be down to 42 laps remaining, 43 to go as they come across the start-finish line. Causey easily going to be your race leader into 1. First battle on the racetrack is going to be between Evan Kelsey and Alan Martin. That fight's gone on most of the race. They have Cody Henderson right behind them. Henderson trying to shoot the gap up the middle. Closes off from Alan Martin. Henderson able to slide up the racetrack, avoid the contact. Battle for the race lead, heating up in a big way. Causey still has it. Here's Christian Converse looking to the outside. We've seen Andrew Chapman make this move once before. Tonight he's going to do it again off of turn 2. Looks down to the inside of Joseph Causey. Has to tuck back in line as they hit turn 3. Looking at a 12-car breakaway here at the front of the field. Joshua Gathright going to be at the tail end of it. Mark McCurdy 1 second back in the 13th position. Joseph Causey better keep an eye out on the rear window here. He's got company in the form of Andrew Chapman. Alan Martin going to throw it in deep inside of Jason Miz into turn number 3. Here comes Evan Kelsey rim riding around the top. Now he's going to cut it all the way back down to the bottom. Wow.
Elevator. Wow.
I say, that's
I don't
aggressive.
think that was his floor, though.
Now Miz and Chapman going to battle side by side. This the fight for the 3rd position. And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, pit window is open. Who's going to get the strategy call that turns the pit window into the pay window? At the completion of 141 laps here at the Kentucky Speedway. Miz slides up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, opens the door for Alan Martin to look to the inside. Cody Henderson, Evan Kelsey still fighting side by side. They've also got the 2 with Jeremy Gibbs fighting up there with them as well. Top 3 single filed out. The back behind them for 4th through about 10th is intense. Jason Miz, big chop down the front straightaway. Takes the air off of Alan Martin's machine. Allows Cody Henderson to attack on the outside. Evan Kelsey and Jeremy Gibbs going to be right there. So now we're working lap 106. The pit window is officially open. You can make it to the end of the race from here on your final pit stop. The question becomes, who's going to make that stop and when? And how about this one? Wendell Elliott is running 3190s, basically in line with some of the cars right around them, but about 0.4 of a second slower than everybody at the front of the field. I don't think there's any way Wendell Elliott can make it 53 laps, can he? That might be the most epic fuel save of all time.
I mean, this is his life now, so he's got to hope pull off some sort of miracle. Otherwise, yeah, his hopes for the title is going to take a huge hit. Oh, just like the little bit of contact between the 24 and the 710.
Things
That was a
starting.
hip check.
I was going to say, things starting to get aggressive here late in the race.
Yeah, I just realized there's probably no love lost between those two, given what happened at the end of Charlotte a few weeks ago.
Let's run you back through the field here. Christian Converse is your race leader, making his way through turn number 4 this time. We'll put lap number 110 on the scoreboard. Joseph Causey runs in the second position. Those two cars have been at the front and held their positions throughout the course of the race here tonight, never being outside the top 5. Andrew Chapman, easily your hard charger of the race. Well, one of them anyway, as he's up 13 spots to run in the third position. Good run for that Virginia Tech Hokie, number 22. Jason Miz runs in the fourth position. The Performance Sim Sport, number 24, has gained 7 spots, but Miz on the outside looking in of the playoff grid. So he's going to be in more of a teammate role here as the rest of the season rolls on. Just back behind him is playoff contender Cody Henderson. Henderson up 5 spots from where he started this race here tonight. He last stopped at lap number 78, puts him on the slightly alternate strategy. Could see him go as late as like 120 or so, even 125, based on the fuel saving numbers under caution. Here comes race leader Joseph Causey. He's on pit road, and there's your answer. Lap number 112 will put Causey to lap 153. He is plenty good to go the rest of the way. We'll stay on the number 88 machine, follow this final round of pit stops. Causey gets down, hits his marks. We're going to keep your eye out, look for the car to back up. It does not. Causey hits the marks just clean, crew around to the right-hand side. Christian Converse, Andrew Chapman, Jason Miz making their way down pit road. Causey's crew finishing up their work on the left-hand side. He's down and away. 15.05 seconds the time on the stop for Joseph Causey. Here's Christian Converse. I would imagine he's going to have some optional repairs on that number 19 machine. Hits the box cleanly once again. No tires, it looks like here. We'll see if the crew's going to do any repair work. I believe they will not. Converse is down and away, 11.13 seconds. Here is the 710 of Cody Henderson making his way down the pit road. For his final stop, Evan Kelsey, Alan Martin, Taylor Toller also on the pit road with the 710. Henderson hits his marks, crews around to the right-hand side. He mentioned having one set of tires left in the pit box. That could be crucial here in the later stages of this race. Donnell Williams making his way down pit road. Henderson down and away, 14.8 seconds. Here's Donnell Williams in the number 82, Strange Music Chevrolet Camaro. He's going to hit his pit box here. Crew will go to work. Down to 6 cars that have not stopped yet on the racetrack, including Jeremy Gibbs, Joshua Gathright, Nick Lockard, Wendell Elliott, Mark McCurdy, and Peter Hodgson. Again, no tires on this one. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, 4-tire change for the 82 of Donnell Williams. He's down and away. 14.73 seconds the time on the stop for Donnell Williams' crew. Let's pick up your race leader here, Jeremy Gibbs. He stopped at lap number 95. So, again, they have a decent amount of fuel left to work with here. And a caution flag now would trap all but the top 6 cars 1 lap down. You're going to get a lucky dog. You're going to have the waiver rounds. However, the important thing here, oh, contact! Wow, they're really beating and banging in the corners here. Nick Lockard, he wants to go. The big thing here, James, is that if you get a caution flag, you're going to be at the front of the field with fresh tires and a full load of fuel.
Yep, and we almost got it right there.
The Rays import number 2 of Jeremy Gibbs. Went from the race lead to running in the 3rd position in the span of a couple of corners. As we have a new race leader, Nick Lockard, in the number 10, the Lockard.IT machine. Trouble on the racetrack for Christian Converse. See what happened here. No caution flag yet. Oh, Converse may have had a penalty here as he's going to come to a stop. And Christian Converse, your longtime race leader, may be out of the race. What a huge moment there. Joseph Causey has unlapped himself. However, he still runs in the 7th position. All that does is make Andrew Chapman the next car 1 lap down as we wait for the rest of these cars to have to make their pit stops. And how's this one? Nick Lockard, 32.1 second last time by. How about 31 flat for Joseph Causey? Andrew Chapman also unlapping himself. Chapman in the 30-second bracket, 30.92 seconds in the last lap. Nick Lockard losing a ton of time here. Basically, he needs a caution, and he needs it now. Not sure. May have been a penalty for Christian Converse. Didn't look like the car had a ton of damage to it. It did have a little bit on the right rear, but nothing that I would have said, hey, this may be a meatball flag. Looks like Christian Converse going to finish in the 17th position tonight. Here comes the 24, Jason Miz, around to unlap himself.
It wasn't a penalty. I'm going back. He tried to go around the outside of the 23. They made contact and it yeeted the 19 into the wall right front first. And then he dove onto pit road and stopped and had to tow.
What a tough break for Christian Converse. Slide back here just a little bit. We'll pick up the fight between Jeremy Gibbs and Wendell Elliott. Troubles for some of your playoff contenders here this evening, or at least drivers that are not in great shape for high finishing final positions here. Christian Converse looks like he's going to be out of the race in the 17th position. Donnell Williams, who is also one of your playoff contenders, not having a very good night either here. Williams back there in the 14th position, still being scored 1 lap down to the race leaders. Looks like Joseph Causey stands to be the biggest beneficiary of these issues here. With Greg Holt and Rob Pendleton not in the race tonight, Converse having his issues, along with some of the others, Joseph Causey looks to be your point leader by a pretty wide margin once we finish the racing action here tonight. There is Causey currently running in the 7th position, waiting on the top 6 ahead of him to make their final pit stops. 1.5 seconds back is the 22 of Andrew Chapman. Jason Miz looks to be your third of the podium finishers here this evening. Currently running in the 9th place, once again waiting for some of the front-running cars to make their final pit stops. This would be a pretty wild stretch here for Nick Lockard. Currently on lap number 33 of this stint, and based on the numbers we heard, he could go about 41 laps or so, as Evan Kelsey's going to come to the inside and get his lap back. Also the 20 of Taylor Toller. If Lockard were to pit right now, he would be right in the ballpark of coming out in about the 15th position based on where everybody else is running. This is the fight for second on the racetrack. Wendell Elliott and Joshua Gathright dueling down the backstretch towards turn 3.
It's like some fairly significant damage on the right side of the 89 car. It looks like he got into the wall hard at some point.
There's been a lot of beating and banging back in the pack here over the course of the evening. Nick Lockard working lap number 131. When he comes off at turn number 4, he will see 2 outstretched palms. It'll be 10 laps to go for Nick Lockard. Let's go on board here with him. It almost sounds like he is most certainly not at full throttle all the way around here. Big lift off into the corner, and you never get that real full throttle sound out of the motor either.
No pace and hardcore fuel save, hoping for a miracle.
The problem that he has now is that with everybody else getting their laps back, he would cycle in after everybody else who's made their final pit stop and gotten back on the lead lap. Head on to the back straightaway here. You have Mark McCurdy, Peter Hodgson battling for 5th and 6th. Again, these are the last 2 cars to have not made their final pit stops yet. If they've already potentially may have made their final pit stops already. Hodgson really backing off down the straightaway. The fuel saving is pretty insane here, but the gap is still about 7 seconds between Peter Hodgson and Joseph Causey. Pick up Joseph Causey here so you can see the lap times. That last lap, 1.7 seconds faster for Joseph Causey. He's eating up time in a hurry. It's just a matter of, is he going to have enough time to get there? And do these cars in front of him have enough fuel to make the end? Nick Lockard's last lap time, 32.48 seconds. 32.11 the last lap time for Joseph Causey. It's only 0.4 of a second over the course of a lap. There's not enough laps for Causey to get up there and win this thing unless everybody in front of him runs out of fuel. Are we going to see another miracle fuel run out of Nick Lockard? He's proven to be a strategy master thus far with a couple of podium finishes dictated by the strategy calls. And this is a win and you're in scenario. Lockard would go from 7th in points to a guaranteed spot in the round of 8. As we're down to 4 laps to go here at Kentucky Speedway. Now 3 to go for Nick Lockard. The lead, 2.7 seconds over Wendell Elliott. Your top 6 cars on the racetrack trying to make an absolutely massive fuel run. We were hearing a max of 41 laps or so. How about 44 laps currently for Nicholas Lockard? 2 to go. Does he have a 1.5 miles of fuel remaining in the Lockard.IT number 10? White flag in the air for Nicholas Lockard. Wendell Elliott still 2.5 seconds back. He is not gaining. Little by little, now it's down to 2.33 seconds. 8 seconds back, Joshua Gathright in third. Through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. What a run. Epic finish to this one here at Kentucky. Nicholas Lockard claims the victory. Wendell Elliott comes home second. Joshua Gathright just coming across the line now in third. Jeremy Gibbs going to hold on for fourth. Here's Peter Hodgson looking to finish a run in the top 5. He does so. Mark McCurdy comes home in sixth. And what looked to be an absolutely fantastic night for Performance Sim Sport turns into a singular podium finish for Wendell Elliott. He had enough fuel in the tank to do the burnouts as well here at the start-finish line. Let's get you your race results here before the victory lane interviews. Nicholas Lockard picks up the win by 2.4 seconds over Wendell Elliott. Joshua Gathright third, Jeremy Gibbs fourth, Peter Hodgson comes home in the 5th position. Mark McCurdy, Joseph Causey, Andrew Chapman, Jason Miz, and Cody Henderson round out your top 10. Alan Martin, Evan Kelsey, Taylor Toller, Danelle Williams, and Art Greco back through the 15th position. 16th is Garrett Velzy, 17th Christian Converse, Nathan Aldrich in 18th. Darrell Rector, 19th, 20th to Timothy Pendergrass. Danny Lawson comes home in the 21st position, 22nd to Andrew Schroeder. And the final car to finish this evening is Gavin Fitzgerald. James, I don't know if these guys are lying to us when they give us the numbers or what, but there's no way that Nick Lockard should have gone as far as he did.
That is a Herculean effort, fuel saving. I'm dumbfounded that he was able to pull that off. That is Scott Dixon level of fuel saving sneakiness right there. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, I have no idea. We're going to talk to him here in just a minute and find out how he was able to pull it off. In fact, while we wait for our other two drivers to get in here, let's get you your victory lane interview with tonight's race winner, Nick Lockard. How in the world did you make a tank of fuel in this car last 46 laps?
Well, we just ran out of gas doing that burnout, so it was on fumes, I'll tell you that much. I mean, it really came down to strategy. I had a strategy where I was basically taking half of the fuel run and just saving tires. And I think that was the differentiator compared to what I was seeing other guys do out there. They were just burning their stuff up super quick. At the beginning of the race, not sure if you noticed or not, but I dropped to the very back on purpose. And I was just taking it easy. And we actually ended with an extra set of tires still in pits. We didn't need them. That final caution, I brought it down just to top it off. And I was shutting it off coasting and was able to bring it home from there.
I am still absolutely floored at the run that you put in here tonight. We mentioned, in fact, we called it out to say, hey, he's gotten the strategy call right before this season. Now the question becomes, you're locked into the round of 8 here. How much of your effort goes into assisting some of your Locker.it teammates and getting more of your cars into the round of 8, or are you in full-on pick-up wins and try to get as many of the bonus points as possible too?
Sorry about that. My button was messing up there. To answer your question there, man, I wish I could be going for more wins here. Unfortunately, I'm actually going to be gone for the next 3 weeks. And so this was a strategy play to try to win it so I can at least get through to the next round. Because as long as I'm in it, I know I got a chance and I'll win again. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that I'm not going to be able to participate these next 3 weeks because I know we've got a really fast car. We've got a winning strategy. But I'm confident once we come back here, you better believe they better watch out because we're coming for the championship.
Well, it sounds like you'll be back for the race first weekend in August at Auto Club Speedway, and that is a track that's basically just a bigger version of this one. We head to Michigan next week, so you'll have some team setup notes there. You have Auto Club, New Hampshire, which is a total oddball to the rest, but then Chicagoland and Texas. These are tracks that have been right in your wheelhouse this season. You have to be incredibly confident heading into this late playoff run.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicagoland is one of my favorite tracks. I'm not a fan of New Hampshire, so I'm not going to miss that one. But I'm also a fan of Michigan, so I am going to kind of miss that. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that tires is the most important thing. And luckily, from what I've been seeing out here, a lot of people haven't realized that yet. Tires wins races, so.
Well, Nick, it was a fantastic run tonight. We're going to hate to miss you here the next couple of weeks, but look forward to seeing. You're going to have one shot at advancing to the next round, and that's going to come at Auto Club Speedway the first weekend in August. Second weekend in August. That is going to be a ton of fun to watch you in that race as well. So congratulations on the win tonight here. Who do you want to thank?
Yeah, appreciate the opportunity there. Love to thank our sponsors on board, Locker.it. Check them out at Locker.it for more information. And everyone that puts this together, Garrett, you guys, I mean, it's just an awesome league to be a part of. Going to miss it these next 3 weeks, that's for sure. But looking forward to get back out here. So thank you.
All right, there you go. Nicholas Lockard taking the Olympic break here, if you will. Let's pick up our runner-up finisher here this evening, Wendell Elliott. And Wendell, I don't know that you were intending to be on this strategy. However, it couldn't have worked out, well, maybe I guess about 2.5 seconds better. That's about all that separated you from a win tonight?
Yeah, I didn't take tires. I took tires on lap 40 or 42 when the caution came out, and I didn't take tires on the second caution or third caution at lap 71 or 72 whenever, we had that caution there. Killed me. Should have took tires. I was just saving it instead of tires.
Ultimately, it ended up being the right strategy call in the long run. Did you have anything there for Nick, or were you having to conserve as heavily as he was? Or even more heavy than he was?
I was conserving, but with 20 to go, I was going. I'd run him down from like 4 seconds back to a little over 2. So I was going. I wasn't saving, too much.
Well, it's a good run for you tonight here, and with some of the other issues that drivers have had, you're going to be, second in the point standings heading into the next couple of weeks, and it really setting up some pretty good tracks for you as well. So it should be a little bit of a confidence boost here as we head into the rest of this round of 12.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm lurking on that win. I just can't seem to get it. But anyway, thanks everybody. Enjoy the broadcast. Appreciate the race team and all that. Thanks to Garrett for putting it on. Y'all have a good week.
Yeah, you too, brother. That's Wendell Elliott, and let's pick up third place running here, Joshua Gathright, to finish things out for the interviews. And Joshua, that car looks like it's been maybe not through Martinsville, but you definitely had some contact out there. How was the car handling late, and how difficult was the fuel save fighting an ill-handling race car?
Well, I had such horrible tire wear that I didn't really have to save fuel because I couldn't get to throttle soon enough. So I knew the car was going to save the fuel on its own. I was just trying to put nice, easy laps in. I laid a pretty aggressive block there on the 10 car. I think it was lap 117. And at the same time, the car in front of me hit the apron, so he had to check up. Then I had to check up, and then the car behind me throttled in because that's where you're supposed to throttle in. So I took some gnarly damage there, and I just put a parachute on the front of the car. But, I mean, it's racing. It's whatever. It's a good time.
I was going to say that
third place. I'm not going to complain.
I say that one had to be a ton of fun out there because you were in the middle of the battles all night. When we saw, Christian Converse and Wendell and Joe Causey and all, they were kind of doing their thing out front. You were in the middle of the scrum the entire night. Do you really think the 1.5 miles should be racing like this, or was that your thought that 1.5 miles would race like that?
No, and honestly, man, I am not a fan of the new Kentucky. I miss the old Kentucky. The old Kentucky was a blast, but since they've repaved it, it's not my favorite track anymore. But also that the setup is it didn't like dirty air, right? So if you were up front, you were good. And like Wendell, Kazi, and Christian, they're all my teammates, and I just don't know how to qualify apparently. So I had to work through the pack to get up to them. So I mean, it was a good time. I enjoyed my race for sure. So it was fun.
It looked like it was a blast out there, and a very good third place finish for you tonight. Who do you want to thank?
Shout out to Performance Sim Sport. Shout out to our sponsor, Burnt Out Apparel. If you guys want, go check them out at burntoutapparel.com. It's kind of first responder t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. And big shout out to Firehouse Gaming.
All right, there you
go. And of course, you guys for putting on the broadcast. I appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. There's Joshua Gathright, your third place finisher this evening here, and as we go back to the scenic views of Kentucky Speedway. James, that race was not in any way, shape, or form what I thought we were going to see this evening.
And I am glad. This race was a lot more fun to watch because of the pure unpredictability of fuel strategy. It's like the whole time, those last 40 laps, we had no idea what was going to happen. Who was going to be able to pull off the fuel strat, if any of these wacky strategy ideas were even going to work. And it did. And it is incredible to me that Lockhart took this as his one opportunity, because he only had one opportunity, and nailed it and is going on to the next round. That is an unbelievable moment in this series. And that
Absolutely.
just might end up. I'm just have no words to describe that. Like,
if Nick Lockard wins a championship here, this is the moment that we go back to. He had one shot and he got it done, and that set up the rest of the run. But with that, we're going to wrap up our coverage here from the Kentucky Speedway. For James Watson and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to have you with us this evening. We will talk to you tomorrow night with the Silver Crowns. Have a good night, everybody.